Hey folks, this is Matt. I am casting my screen from Salt Lake City where I have just arrived for NGConf, first ever AngularJS Conf. I could not be more excited. So it's been a long day, but I still can't wait to tell you about the new version of Go Angular, which of course we're launching on the eve of NGConf. The last version wasn't very exciting. We revisited the API, cleaned it up, tried to attempted to make it feel more familiar to Angular developers, um, cleaned up the Go connection provider, and now in version 3, we've been able to build upon that and introduce new convenience services. Sorry, I had to run ahead. Somebody knocking on the door, they wanted to bring me mints. I wonder if I told them if I had 10 people here, they'd bring me more mints. So to get today, we're going to build a chat application because the web just does not have enough chat applications. You can never have too many chat applications. So we've got sort of this kind of starting point. Um, we have on the left here, we have an HTML template. There's quite a bit of fluff here, but really when it comes down to it, what's doing the real work is this ng repeat message and messages. And this, so that's basically echoing out this message.author and message.content. You might notice that we have this edit and remove. Maybe we'll touch upon that in a future screencast. Probably this to do editing content too. But today, what we're going to focus on is just being able to enter your name, enter a message, and hit send, and have that pop up in real time across all your users. So I think you're going to be surprised by how easy that is. Let's get started. To quickly recap where we are right now, you can see that we have included Go Angular as a dependency for our module. So we've registered the package. We've included it right here. You've got the platform.min.js and the goangular.min.js, and of course the actual Angular library here. So we're just pulling those both in from the CDN. We're using the latest version. So the Go connection provider allows you to configure your connection, and you can get that connection on your dashboard at goinstant.com. So once you have that and you are connected, you are able to start using GoKey to create a model. And you can think of a model as a local representation of a specific location in your remote data structure. So our data structure is really simple. Our data structure looks something like this. It has content, which is just a string, and it has an author. So that's what it's going to eventually look like. And if we want to create a reference to this, then all we need to do, we're going to apply it to scope. We're going to use our goKey method, and that's it. It's at the top level. If it was nested, we could access it this way. So you can kind of picture us accessing the remote messages key. We can get rid of this now. And let's actually have a look at what that creates for us. So it's going to create a model, and that model is going to have a bunch of methods on it. And those methods are going to allow us to interact with that data. So you can see that we have the on and off methods for registering and killing listeners. We have add to generate new key names for us. It does that in chronological order. We're going to take advantage of that in just a moment. Set to change the value of remote data. And it's worth mentioning that when your model changes remotely, we're going to use the sync function to keep it current locally. But these methods change it both remotely and locally. So probably the best way to show is just to show you that. So if we sync this now and then we refresh this page again, you can see that it actually hasn't changed. I bet you if we do this a couple of times, it will. Or perhaps not. Okay. So apparently the internet connection isn't incredible in this hotel. Why am I surprised? Okay. So we're registering a listener. let's register it on the right variable. We're going to register a listener on the messages variable, and at that point we know that it's ready, and we can see that it has all of these associated messages. So we have this message from author ASDF. That sounds like a really important one. But we have a whole host of messages, and these methods that we have are really decorating the model. And because they're prefixed with a $sign, Angular knows that when they're passed into a view, they need to be trimmed off. So it's double $signs for a private, and you can see we've got some private methods here and a single $sign for the public methods. So really at that point, we have our messages here, and it's time to start adding messages, so we probably don't need this anymore. So let's add a new message. So we're going to use the aptly named add method, and we're going to pass in a message. So we're probably going to want to have this triggered when somebody adds a new message. And then we'll format that message, and we'll give the message content. I'm glad I remembered what it was called, which is on scope. And an author, whoops. And that should just about do it. So at this point, when we refresh it, we should be able to add a new message. Oh, did I spell it wrong again? Oh my lord. There we go. So now we're adding new messages and they're popping up. But it's kind of annoying because we have to keep scrolling down, and you can see we already have this scroll on function which would scroll to the top, some hacky jQuery in there. So let's take advantage of that by registering an event so that each time a new message is added, so we're going to listen to the onAdd event, we need it to fire locally because we're adding messages here locally and it's not scrolling down, and this will pick up remote and local changes. So whenever it changes locally, then fire that method. And now when we can move this console down a little bit. Now when we type a message in here, it should scroll us to the bottom. So this event is being fired each time a new message is added, and it's just calling this method, which is scrolling us to the bottom. And just to confirm that this is multi-user, why don't we just very quickly pop this open here, have this running in a couple of windows. My internet connection here is really not good. But that's okay. I'm in a hotel, and I'm at ngconf, so I cannot complain. So here we are, messages finally have been added, and you can see that as I hit them, they're kind of popping up over on the right side there, and they're popping up on the left side. And I'm sure if I scroll up here, we attach that event listener, and we can make that fire too. Cool. So there we go. We have a real-time multi-user chat. And you can see how simple that was to implement. I'm really excited to see what people do with this new version. I'd like to make it even easier to extend that model and to create them. I think that what we have now is a good foundation, and we can just continue to extend upon it. If you have any feedback, questions, or comments about this version or the previous version, then please get in touch with me. You can reach me directly at Matt Krieger. Krieger is spelled Creager at goinstant.com, or you can find me on Twitter at Matt_Krieger. If you're going to be at ngconf this week, then by all means get in touch. Let's sit down, let's have a chat. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I guess this is Matt in Salt Lake City signing off. Have a great night. Bye-bye.